Is this experience that we call life, that beings all around the universe are having right now, is this experience an illusion of biology? Is it a simulation? Is it what the Hindus call Maya or unreal? There was a great Indian saint called Sri Ramana Maharshi, and he would always say that reality, it must always be real. Reality must always be real. That's what reality means. It doesn't come with any temporary name or form or shape. That which underlies this name, form, shape is the real reality. The thing that remains unchanged as everything comes and goes out of existence. This is what Ramana Maharshi called the real reality. If that's what reality is it possible to experience reality? Because our experience that we are having is a biological manifestation. It's sort of this creation that our bodies put on. You know, we only have a limited amount of senses. Touch, smell, see, hear, see, did I say that already? Whatever our senses are, this is the only pinholes we get to peek through into reality. That's all we have. We have the limited senses of the body, and our bodies need to filter things out. That's the function of the body is to filter things out, to filter out the things that are useless for your survival. Biology is a mechanism in which the most beneficial traits are the ones that are carried on to the next offspring, or to the next organism, as a way for it to ensure its survival. So if we are experiencing a reality that is only an experience of survival, then I don't really know where that puts us. What does that mean for reality? Because I mean, if you think about it, think about the human experience compared to a fly. The instinctual levels are so different, and the instinctual levels, meaning the biology, is focusing on different things. What I'm saying is that there is an infinite amount of potential that exists in the universe that we are unaware of because it's not useful to our survival. Think of sharks, for example. Sharks have this sense in which they can feel when things are next to them. Some kind of like electrical pulse goes off of them and bounces back, and they can feel when something is next to them. This is a sense we don't have, but it exists. So there are senses that other beings on this planet have in which we aren't capable of having. So in this way, we are experiencing a simulation or a simulated reality that's being put on by our senses, by our biology. We are experiencing an illusion that is the best illusion for us to thrive in, for us to survive in this current experience or in this current state of where our evolutionary timeline is. No experience we have is a justifiable reality because it's always being filtered through such a huge process of ego and biology that by the time you are experiencing it, you're only seeing a sliver of what's actually happening. Think about cultural conditioning, and the way that we are raised dictates the way we perceive the world. If you're raised with the idea that there's an elephant-headed God that can help you overcome obstacles, and that this is the deity that you are invoking when you are overcoming something, then this is your experience of reality. This is your illusion of reality, and people believe that's real, or people believe Jesus was a son of some divine thing that he needed to kill himself, and so we find ourselves being perceiving reality through cultural, linguistic hallucinations. Thought. We find ourselves living in thoughts more than think about how often we live through thoughts than we do in real reality. How many times have we been completely drowning in our insecurities or something like that, or in our own self-judgments or judgments of others? Think about a situation that you've been in where you've built this whole scenario up in your head, and it's not real. You find out that it's not real, that that person didn't actually think that way of you, or whatever the situation was, is that you found that you were just living in thought, in a linguistic hallucination. And I think life is actually like that. And if we examine ourselves, we will realize that we live only in our thoughts and in our instincts. We jump from moment to moment of attachment to what we find is beneficial for our survival. We don't live in a sort of non-dual, egoless world, because if we did, you wouldn't eat. You wouldn't make families, because, you know, you'd be walking into bear caves. And I don't know why people don't think of sleep and dreams as being this crazy, mysterious, mystical experience, because we don't talk about it, but our bodies shut off every night and our consciousness goes on, and it continues to experience a life. It continues to experience a simulation of an internal. It's instead of engaging with the outside world, your senses go inward and engage with some inner, who knows what that is, in the inner worlds. And in the inner worlds, there's just as many universes inside of you as there is planets and stuff going on outside. So, and I would argue that we spend just as much time sleeping as we do awake in this world. So I don't know why we give so much validity to this when we are experiencing some other place just as much as this. But that goes away when we're awake, so we ignore it. But this goes away when we're asleep, and we ignore this. We take whatever position that we find ourselves in the dream as being legit, as being real. We've all woken up for dreams where we're like having to look around to make sure that it wasn't real. So I think life is like that. And I don't know if we're in a simulation in the sense of we're in a computer program, but we're in a simulation in the sense that what we are experiencing is a projection of thought. It's a projection of our senses, and it's a projection of language. It's a projection of language. And you know, we really downplay the subjective experience. I mean, it is interesting that we all find ourselves in a shared hallucination, that we all find ourselves on a plane of existence, a planet, a plane, a realm, the universe. You could look at the universe as being some kind of realm in which energy manifests itself into personalities. Yeah, I think we're in a simulation. I don't know if we're in like the Matrix or anything like that, but we are definitely in some kind of odd predicament of where it's not real. It's not real. It's being created. I think we're creating this as it happens. There's nothing to break free from. Like, you see a lot of YouTubers and people talk about like how to break free of the Matrix. You can't break free of it because you don't exist. There's nothing to break free from. The ego is just as unreal as any of this. It's all a part of this. It's all a part of just nature's way to kind of experience and grow. It's like it's always upgrading itself. It's always upgrading. It's always upgrading itself and improving on its last incarnation. The environment is always changing. The universe is always changing. The current conditions that we are experiencing now in the universe are not the conditions that were happening prior to the Big Bang or whatever. You know, that we're in this constant change. Who knows why the universe produces this feeling of being separate from all of it and sort of wanting to remain in what we are, you know? Like, a lot of us really ignore that change is truth, or that change is happening, and what's happening under change, the source of change, is truth. We get distracted in the changes. But yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about this real quick and sort of just share my kind of opinions on on this, because I think it's interesting to talk about, and I think that, you know, I think we are in a weird, mysterious experience, you know? Whoa, what's going on? What is happening? What is happening? I feel like it's a useful conversation because, I mean, we're both experiencing something really weird. So yeah, my conclusion is that we are in a kind of simulation because it's temporary. And if it's temporary, it's not real. So leave me a comment and letting me know what you think. Do you think we're in a simulation? Do you understand what I'm saying when I kind of say that we are in a simulation that's from our senses, and that there are things that exist beyond our senses, and we will never be able to understand the full spectrum of what is out there, and nothing will. Nothing in a body or nothing that identifies as an individual can experience that, because to be an individual is to limit yourself. To try to become anything is to limit yourself, when simply the universe is just being. But we bring ourselves out of that into a simulation to experience relationships and the beauty of life. So yeah, I don't know. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Click subscribe. Head over to Stay Happy, Stay Weird and get yourself this Exist Loudly shirt, or any kind of shirt that's on there. See you soon. Peace. Om.